It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, we say it. We'd love to have you in studio, whether you're watching or listening to the show today. We're sitting down with Prescott Area Shelter Services, or PASS, Executive Director Carmen Frederick. An email for them, not an email, but a website is prescottshelters.org, prescottshelters.org, and their phone number is 928-778-5933. And I'll repeat that before and after the commercial breaks, and we'll do more of that. Let's introduce you to Carmen Frederick. She's with us today through Zoom, and we're going to talk about the PASS program and just find out more about it, because I'm sure there's people out there that are listening that may need some help from the Prescott Area Shelter Services. Hello, Carmen.
Hello. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. So let's start at the very beginning. What is PASS, and when did it come about?
Okay, yeah. PASS is stands for Prescott Area Shelter Services. We started back in 2007 with community conversation over here in the Prescott area about needing shelter for women and children. And so it took about a year of conversation and movement before the community kind of gathered around, and the momentum built up to where we were able to serve some women in the basement of Hillside Church of God. And we served 34 women and 7 children in '08, and in a 3-month span, actually. So when that happened, we really started getting the support from, United Way, the city of Prescott, a lot of individual donors and churches, and gathered up the funding to be able to open up our current location, which is a nice dormitory-style building that can serve up to 28 women and children now. So we've been doing this technically in our current location since 2009. Okay. And we have served over 2,500 women and children during this time frame. And our transition rate out of shelter is actually really high. So I'll talk about why it is in a little bit, but it's 88% of everybody coming through transition into permanent housing, which is awesome.
So it sounds like when you first got this started and you were working on it and trying to get it going, when you did finally get it started, it was obvious that there was a need for the service in the area.
Right. And we had, things, said in the community that it wasn't really needed. We didn't really need it because people didn't see women homeless on the street, which the homeless women population, you normally don't see them on the street. They're living in their car, tucked behind somebody's house in a driveway. They are, couch surfing. They are not sitting on the street corner. Society kind of has been taught that anybody homeless that's outside with a sign, help me, God bless you, I need someplace to live. Uh-huh. And that is just not the real case scenario. We have a huge homeless population in the state of Arizona, and women and children are a big percent of that, and families. And it has gotten worse over the years through just, low unemployment rates, lack of affordable housing, and then with the pandemic, that really hit people hard as well.
Yeah, I remember okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say the Great Recession is when I think that was kind of the start of it too, was the Great Recession, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, because then we did have the pandemic, and yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Are you finding that maybe some of the folks that you're helping right now are having an easier time possibly in finding a job that they would like to have, since employment? You can't help but drive down the street and see tons of employment signs. We're looking for workers. Are they finding work better now?
Absolutely. We have help wanted signs all over the Prescott area. I'm sure Cottonwood is maybe the same.
Oh, yeah.
And people are they're snagging those jobs now very easily. The problem still remains with now mostly affordable housing. Prescott has a pretty high rent ratio compared to income ratio. So, you know, for a studio, $900 to $1,000 for a studio. And when you're talking about a studio apartment, you can't have 2 or 3 children in those. So if you're a single mom, you're getting on all the low-income housing wait lists, which are 3 to 4 years because people aren't moving from those as rapidly because that's the rent that they can afford. Mm-hmm. So it's still a situation as far as affordable housing. And until we fix that issue, that's what people are going to have to deal with and work around. And what we teach the women here in the shelter is to look at all of the different ways they can get into housing, and maybe not the traditional way. Maybe you partner up with a roommate or 2, or maybe you partner up with a family and you do it together. It's always easier to make it with 2 incomes. And you're normally going to get approved for, you know, a house or an apartment, 3 to 4 bedroom, if you're doubling that income.
Gotcha.
So that's what we train our women to do.
And let's get this clear. So this is not women of domestic violence. This is for women who are homeless. Maybe they have their kids with them and they're homeless. But you're dealing with the homeless population. Right.
In fact, The domestic violence piece we refer to like stepping stones or Camp Breeze Sanctuary.
Okay.
We're not domestic violence. We only deal with people who find themselves homeless out of just pure circumstance, or maybe it's been bad choice after bad choice and it's finally kind of caught up with them. And so we have a huge mixture of different types of people we serve, from 18 years old clear to, we've had people in their 80s, usually on fixed income or no income at all. And, you know, when you reach out to a homeless shelter, you're in pretty bad need. You know, you're pretty hurting at the bottom of your bucket, so to speak, to have to reach out to an emergency homeless shelter. So these are really hurting people. They are people who may not have family or friends, a safety net in their personal life to help, and they have nowhere else to turn. So we're not talking about people who, you know, like myself, I take for granted my family and friends many times, my church family. All of those people, if I came on hard times with my children, would take me in. They would help me. I know exactly where to turn for that help, and I would have it in a heartbeat. And the people coming here do not have that at all. So not only are they homeless, but they are very hurting inside because they just have nobody. When we get them into shelter, you know, we provide immediate, you know, bed, shower, food, clothing, all the basic hygiene items that a person would need, and a lot of love and support and mentorship. So when that is provided in the first couple of days, you know, you meet that immediate need, but then we have a 90-day program. So what do you do for the other 88 days while they're here, once you meet those immediate needs?
You know what? You know what, Carmen? Let's talk about that. That's a good segue. When we come back, okay, so if I come and I stay at Pass, what's going to be required of me to help me get me back up on my feet and be productive and be back out in society? So let's come back from our break and do that. Carmen Frederick's here. She is the Prescott Area Shelter Services Executive Director. The website is prescottshelters.org. The phone number is 928-778-5933. Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Terrifying Jobs, Bull Rider, take 2.
Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Two things we can count on every year.
A new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in-ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Prescott Area Shelter Services, or PASS, Executive Director Carmen Frederick. Again, that website is prescottshelters.org. The phone number is 928-778-5933. Pass that number along, or the website if you know somebody who needs a little bit of help. Okay, Carmen, we started talking just before the break about I guess any woman who is homeless, and if they're homeless and they have children, they should give you a contact. That's the first thing they have to do. Let's say you've brought me in and I'm one person. Let's start there. If I'm one person, kind of what's the process I'm going to go through when I'm at PASS?
Okay. Well, really, the very first thing we do is a phone screening with women. If anyone calls for someone or somebody calls for themselves, we do a little quick interview over the phone. We kind of get down the basics and we look at our bed situation. If we have a bed open and we don't have a wait list, because sometimes we do have a wait list, unfortunately, we say, okay, tomorrow at noon is your intake time, or we base it off when they really need to come in. If they needed to come in that day, we had a bed open, we would bring them in. They come in and we do some paperwork with them, just a little bit, kind of go over our rules and policies and how things work, give them a tour of the shelter, help them get settled into their bed. They make their bed, we have these really wonderful locking boxes at the end of each bed where they put their belongings into, and we give them a lock. And then we kind of just show them the ropes a little bit and give them a few days to get used to things. And it's pretty simple living. It's just a lot of common, living communal rules of everybody, getting along.
Kind of the daily routine?
Daily routine,
okay.
Listening to our staff. We really have a lot of volunteers. This organization is driven by volunteers. So they have to be able to take direction from multiple volunteers, because we have a different one every night that comes in. And really they just get used to the schedule. And after a couple of days, they meet with our case manager. And this is really where the changes start to happen in an individual's life. The case manager really kind of gets down to the nitty-gritty with them. What has happened in your life to bring you to this point? Why are you here in emergency shelter? And let's kind of start, chipping away at, things in your life. And so over time, over about a month, they really get to the root cause of their problems and start to add in resources and different people into their lives in the community, woven into their goals. And the clients pick their goals, the women pick their goals. We actually call them guests at the shelter because we look at them as a guest for a short time.
Okay.
And so each guest, says, this is what I want to get accomplished. and it is our job to provide resources, to be there to guide them, to connect them back into their community in a positive way, and really just get the community, circled around this individual. And when you bring in, they say this for children too, if a child has 3 to 4 adults in their life besides their parents that they can go to talk about things, that child is going to do better than a child that doesn't have those extra individuals.
Sure.
It's the same for these women. The better connected and the more people they know in the community really helps them to network and get out there and be successful. So they start, job searching, getting connected with like Goodwill, Career Services, NACOG, which is another career employment place. And then we also start providing them on-site classes here at our shelter. So we do a financial class, and we have professional financial people come in and teach twice a month to the women on budgeting, saving, how to be ready to rent, all of those financial pieces that you really need to get into order that may have also brought you into shelter. And we have empowerment classes for women who are just, their self-esteem is pretty low when they come in. It's incredible what it does to make a person feel, just by not having a house, you already feel like a piece of crap. Just not live a normal life. You don't feel like a person who has a car and a home and a job. Your self-esteem is down the toilet. You don't.
I was going to say, yeah, getting that self-esteem up and making somebody feel like they're worth something and worthwhile is probably key to it. Something else I wanted to ask you too, what about mental illness? I'm sure you bump into some mental illness in there. Do you have therapists and therapy for that, and medication and so on?
We do. We refer out to West Yavapai Guidance Clinic, Spectrum, Churros, all of the mental health agencies. We're getting more in our area, so that's been helpful. But mental health, whether a person has been diagnosed or not, your mental health isn't good if you're homeless, just because of the state of a crisis that you're in. And any of us, I'm not diagnosed, I don't have a mental health disorder per se, but if I was on the street and I had nowhere to go, my mind would be all over the place.
Sure.
And that would be true for anyone. So whether they're diagnosed or not, they come in crisis, and they get connected to all those services to help that crisis. And, one of the first things we do is referrals to mental health and to doctors just for your physical health, and to all of the agencies in town that can help you. People get to see a doctor, they get to see a counselor, they start to become healthy. We actually witness a transformation in their physical appearance after about a month.
I bet you do.
You come in, you're haggard, you are stressed, your face doesn't look like it normally would if you're not stressed out.
Bottom of the barrel.
And they get, a bed, a warm bed, a safe place that they don't have to worry about somebody, breaking in. They get cleaned up, I don't know if you've ever been camping, but I've been camping a lot, and I come back looking pretty bad. And
that shower feels good. I know.
Mm-hmm.
That shower feels good when you get back. It feels really good. And with an 87% guests transitioning into permanent housing, that's really neat to hear. We got to take our second break, okay? Prescott Area Shelter Services, or PASS Executive Director Carmen Frederick, is with us today. PrescottShelters.org is the website. PrescottShelters.org. Phone number is 928-778-5933. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with PASS, Prescott Area Shelter Services Executive Director Carmen Frederick. Phone number again, 928-778-5933. Website is prescottshelters.org. That's where I got the phone number up right there, prescottshelters.org. All right, so since opening their current building in February 2009, PASS has served over 2,700 women and children, provided over 65,000 bed nights, and on average 1,050 bed nights per year are utilized by the children. Over 87% of shelter guests transition into permanent housing. And then these people are like back on their feet and functional and contributing to society is what I was looking for. Back to contributing to society and feel good about themselves and back on their feet. And that's the main goal of the PASS, is to help people get up and get back going again. So all this is not free. I mean, it may be free for the person who is coming to PASS, but it's not free. So what kind of things do you need donation-wise, and then financially, how are you guys doing? And then volunteers as well. Let's hit those three things before we run out of time.
Sure. Right. We take everything that you would use in your own household. So, you know, laundry soap, dishwasher soap, all the cleaning supplies, any hygiene supplies. We take all of those items. And then office supplies, stamps, that kind of stuff. So anything you have in your own household, we would take here at the shelter. People can bring donations of women's clothing and can call me or our organization if they have something for a house, like a microwave, TV, or those kinds of things. And if we have somebody moving out, we try to connect the women to those items. So a phone call to us before you bring anything would be excellent. And then we always need money. So we do have our monthly bills we have to pay. We have staff we have to pay. And so we take money donations. We do get some grant funding. We do write a lot of grants. And grants are usually tied to different programs we provide. So usually operating expenses, it's nice to have somebody donate that's unrestricted money that we can just pay the light bill with. And so, you know, that's pretty much what we need donation-wise. We do rely upon a lot of volunteer help, and we have volunteers that come in from 5 to 8. We have volunteers who provide a dinner meal, and we have overnight volunteers, and we have office volunteers. So I would say if anybody out there is interested in volunteering, give us a call, and we would, you know, connect you with our volunteer coordinator to discuss, you know, what our immediate needs are.
What if somebody comes to you, we got about 45 seconds left or so. What if somebody comes to you and they may need some medical attention? Do you have folks out there that help with hearing, eyes, and basic medical needs as well?
We do. Yes,
okay.
We work closely. We refer to Prescott Lions Club. They help with hearing and eyes.
Okay.
And anybody can get hearing aids and free glasses if needed. And then if it's a serious medical condition, they're to the hospital. But we partner with our urgent care clinic. They serve all of our women. We were fortunate enough to have Spectrum provide all of our COVID testing and shots for people who wanted those. And so they came directly to our shelter, which was a huge, blessing for us. And so our community has really, they serve us well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We're out of time, but I appreciate you coming today and talking to us about the Prescott Area Shelter Services. Very nice.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
All right. Again, the website is prescottshelters.org. Prescottshelters.org. The phone number is 928-778-5933. If you're looking to help, there's another option for you. That's today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for watching, listening, and we will talk to you again next time.